Hey guys, and welcome back to the studio. I'm Kaidence Woods. Today we're here with Oakmont High School's 11th grade principal, Mr. Dean. How are you doing today, Mr. Dean?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, Mr. Dean, I know before you were a 11th grade principal here, you were a history teacher. So, what would you say like your time being a history teacher here was like?
It truly was amazing. I came to work here actually a long time ago in 2004, and I was a teacher here for I think it was like 17 years, and probably taught a lot of people's here siblings and whatnot. I've taught a lot of Kellys in my lifetime, so except for this Kelly. But it really was great. My last couple of years I was here, I was the social studies department head, and I taught 11th grade APUSH all day. So I will say that Anita Lewis is a lot better teacher than I am. So you definitely got to upgrade with her coming in and me leaving. But it truly was probably at the time. I loved coming every day. I loved APUSH. I loved 11th grade history, modern American history, and I had kind of at the time I wanted to be an administrator, but at the same time I kind of in my head thought that if this is all I do for the rest of my career is teach history at Oak Mountain High School, it's an amazing job and an amazing place. The kids are amazing, the school's amazing. Teaching history was great, so I never really like got tired of doing that or didn't want to do that, and still part of me misses doing that. But there was just kind of this drive to want to do more and be more and kind of get into an administration side there as well. So I kind of went on this journey, so to speak, into administration. But it's fantastic.
Yes, sir. I totally get where you're coming from. Where you were happy what you were doing,
Yeah.
but you just wanted a little bit more.
Yeah, I think between doing something for so many years, you're either two type of people out there. Either you're content with that, and this is what I want, or some people needs something uncomfortable, challenging. You need growth, and so I think I was really looking to grow and kind of be a little bit uncomfortable and have some challenges and see what else I could be or what I could grow into.
Yes, sir. I get that. I know you like in between your time of coming to becoming like the assistant principal and being a history teacher, you taught at like another school. Where was that you taught?
Well, I was actually an administrator. So I was a teacher here, and then I got an opportunity to be an administrator, and had a great conversation with our superintendent, Dr. Brooks, and he offered me a job to go be like an administrative assistant at Helena High School. So I left 2 years ago and was the AA there for the past 2 years.
Is there like a certain process you have to go through to become a assistant principal?
It's not necessarily. There's a lot of different ways you can kind of get into administration. I think at the core of all of it is that you have kind of, like I said, that desire to kind of be a leader and want to kind of work more and take more responsibilities and really try to like take care of people. So for some people, that could look like you're a coach or you're a sponsor of a large group like band or choir, and you kind of show that you can manage large groups of people and organizations and handle money and budget and plan. On another side of that, for me, I did have some coaching experience earlier in my career, but I think teaching AP, kind of led me to be more of a curriculum type person, knowing kind of the ins and outs of teaching, and a lot of that's through trial and error, but like trying to be a better teacher and how to teach others to be better teachers and then kind of being department head, you're kind of a manager of a department, that type of thing. So there's different kind of pathways to kind of leadership, but as far as the process of becoming one, you really just have to kind of go above and beyond what is asked of you daily to kind of show the powers that it be or the people at the central office that you are someone that could be thrown into leadership. So it's like either you go into these like cohorts where like you do professional development or you can kind of be an AA like I was, or some people go to different systems and you just kind of apply and kind of work your way up. So there's not really one way to do it, but there's different ways to kind of get into it, and they all include having to kind of really just take on more responsibility and work more and serve more people to kind of show that you are that person that could be a school leader.
It's like kind of like you have to assert yourself to go above and beyond.
Yeah, if you're just sitting there, they're not going to come and tag you like, "Oh yeah, I think you would be good." And it's tricky because different schools need different people to just like any type of business or organization, you don't want all of the same thing. So you want people that have different skills and different attributes that kind of bring to the table to kind of be well rounded and serve everybody. So sometimes you can be assertive and you can be go getter and whatnot, and you can still not maybe not get a job or get an opportunity because you're not a good fit. It's not what that school or position needed at that time, and that can be hard to take at times. But I think once you kind of get into it, you understand that, and you kind of respect that you don't want like four Chris Deans at a school, because that's not what the school needs. Everybody needs to bring something special, kind of to make a great place like Oak Mountain.
Yes, sir. And if you were a at Helena High School, what is it that made you want to come back to Oak Mountain?
Well, I think after kind of getting your feet wet and kind of learning, because administration is a totally different job than teaching in a lot of different ways. And so the AA role is really good as far as learning, and you're kind of doing the job of an assistant principal, but you don't have necessarily all the responsibilities of an assistant principal, but you're like an assistant principal. It's kind of a confusing thing, but it's really good to kind of really learn and grow into the role. And so for me personally, after 2 years, I was looking for an opportunity to kind of move up and be an assistant principal, and so I knew I wanted to try to stay in Shelby County. Like I've always worked in Shelby County. I believe in Dr. Brooks and our school leaders, and I think they're just wonderful people that pour a lot into students and into even the adults that lead the schools. And so I was kind of just waiting to see what would be available. And over the summer, things happening with Dr. Haynes retiring and then Miss Evers getting the job at Oak Mountain Middle School. And this job came open here, and I was like, what would that be like, going back? And it was exciting and kind of, nerve wracking because I really liked Helena, and I liked the principal there, who used to be a teacher at Oak Mountain, by the way, Ashley Bear. She taught AP Gov for a long period of time here. So she was a wonderful person to work with, and it was a good school, but it's not Oak Mountain High School. Like in the end, it was like, it's not home. It's not it's a good school. This is a great school. Those are good kids. Y'all are great kids. That's a 30-minute drive. This is a 3-minute drive for me. So the desire to come back and be here, it's a special place with special people. I live here. My kids go to school here. It was a no-brainer when I got the opportunity to and got the job offer. It was like, everything I'd kind of wanted. Now, not to say that this is the end of the road. Like I'd like to become a principal one day, but just the idea of being able to come back, however long this trip will be, was something I couldn't professionally and personally pass up.
On that note, how would you say that Oak Mountain High School has differed from the other schools that you've worked at in the past, since you're fresh from being from others?
It's hard to explain for those that don't go here in a sense. I've had someone explain it before. It's kind of like how Auburn people talk about Auburn, and I don't understand how Auburn people talk about Auburn. And you're an Auburn family, Miss
Yeah, I
Kelly.
am.
It's like, oh, it's just home. It's just special. And other people, they're like, what are you talking about? It's not that. Is it really? But it really is. I think this is a community that on paper shouldn't be a community. We're unincorporated. You talk to people that you're like, where are you from? And you're like, well, it's Birmingham, but it's not. It's you know where Oak Mountain? You know where to? It's hard to explain where we are, but we are a very close knit community, like a small town. And there's not but we're not in a small town. And I think it really is this collaborative effort by the people that live in the community that we want this place to be really good and special. And it starts when you were young. I talk about we pass the same $20 around. I buy your candles, you buy my cookie dough. I do your fun run. You do that. You come to our show choir. We'll come to your games, and from kindergarten on, parents have kind of chipped in and kids have chipped in to really just kind of connect with one another. And you know, we come from great families that with parents that work hard and want better lives for their kids, and I think it's really kind of created a special place. So, not to say that other people don't have that. Helena's a good place. It was good people, but it's something different here. Like, you know, whether it's like what happened with Mr. Johnny, and you saw the community raise tens of thousands of dollars overnight, or years ago when the tornadoes came through, you know, the middle school and how our community just rallied. We're just there for one another, and not every community they might think they do, but when it really comes to that moment, they don't.
Yeah, I feel like at Egg Mountain, when one person goes through something, it's like we're all going through it in a sense because we're all trying to like support them.
And I think like everybody kind of like looks out for one another, and they don't go out of their way per se. I mean, I'm sure there's stories here and there of bullying and whatnot, but I really think for my experience with kids, you're together, and you don't go out of your way to make it hard for others. You know what I'm saying? So you don't go out of your way to, you know, on that. And I'm sure there's, you know, some things here and there that kind of, you know, maybe not always 100% true, but I think for the collaborative part, you know, our care for one another is second to none in the state. You know, our student section is always the best. You know, we're not going to be out. We're not going to be outdone by our care for one another, our cheering for one another.
What do you think you would say that your favorite thing about being like the 11th grade like principal is so far?
You know, on one hand, it's just great to be back and be with great people, and you know, I work with a great team of administrators with, you know, Mr. Gunn and Miss Belizos, Miss Hollington, and Mr. Cummings. But you know, really just trying to get to know students. You know, 2 years doesn't seem like a long time, but it's for y'all, it's almost like a lifetime because people come and go. Like, you know, so I'm just trying to get to know the students better as best as I can, and it's harder. I have to come and interact with y'all in a sense because people that come to me have made poor decisions, and we have to have hard conversations. So I truly enjoy just trying to get a chance to know everybody because I truly think that like your 11th grade year these days, more especially, is your most important year of high school. I think, you know, by senior year decisions, you know, the Hayes in the Barn decisions are made. But this is the year that, you know, you have your hardest classes. This is the year that you're the upperclassman for the first time. You're kind of the leaders of the school. You're trying to get that ACT score. You're filling out those college applications. You're making those big life decisions. And so I'm still trying to navigate, like, how can I be an agent of change and help you in this situation? So that's kind of what I like about being involved with 11th grade, because I taught 11th grade for years, and it was always by far one of my favorite, you know, age groups to really kind of work with.
Like you said, I feel like junior year is when things get like more real. You have to start like thinking about the future and like college and what are you going to
Yeah.
do after high school.
Yeah, and you know, I think it used to be you had a little bit more time, and your senior year kind of was that. But I think the way that the world's kind of shifted in the past, you know, decade or so, you got to make those decisions by your junior year now. You know, that's kind of, you know, a lot of people are already taking dual enrollment in junior year. You know, you're earning credits and making those decisions, and it's kind of become a very, very important year.
So where did you go to like high school and college for like school?
All right, I'm originally from Fairhope, Alabama, which is it used to be a small town on Mobile Bay. It's not a small town anymore. And if you've ever been there, you're like, oh, it's such a pretty little town.
It's so pretty.
It's so pretty. So my dad actually was the head football coach there for a long period of time. So I grew up in Fairhope. My mom still lives there. And I have a brother that lives there. But I kind of came to the Birmingham area. I ended up graduating both undergrad and graduate from the University of Montevallo. My dad passed when I was a junior in high school, so maybe that's another, you know, way I'm kind of tied to the junior year as well. So, you know, I kind of had some friends that had gone to Montevallo, and I really needed a smaller school at the time to kind of really focus myself on not making poor decisions in my life. And so I went to the Montevallo, as a smaller school, and I had some friends there, and I met my wife there. And got my graduate degree there, and so she was from this area, so we kind of stuck in this area afterwards. And like I said, I got really fortunate that my first job was here at Oak Mountain. It was almost at Shelby County High School, but Oak Mountain offered first, and the rest is kind of history.
So do you have like you mentioned that you've had kids that have gone through this system. So like, do you have like kids, pets? Like, what's your family?
Yeah, my wife and I will be married 19 years next week, and then our oldest son Jake, former Oak Mountain Media alumni,
Yes.
he graduated last year, and he's currently a freshman at Alabama and doing great. He's a pre-med major and fellows honor student and $1 million band kid, and living his best life. And so we're super proud of him. And then my daughter Sarah is a freshman here, and she's in Oak Mountain Singers, and living, doing really well. We're proud of her, and she's having a great freshman year as well. And then we do have two dogs, Bonnie and Georgia, and they pretty much dictate our time at home and rule our day, and sometimes escape our yard and run away and come back, and they're good. They're fun.
I can tell that you really do love the Oak Mountain community. Thank you for letting us interview you today, Mr. Dean.
Anytime, I appreciate you having me.